Hi, welcome back to the Blissful Heart channel. My name is Desiree Lee, and I'm here to give you your weekly Bliss Fix, a 4-card pick a card to help you decide, is this mine or is this my twins? Welcome back to my channel, to all of my subscribers, and for anybody that's new, I release video content every Friday/Saturday, and I do readings for the full and the new moon energy, as well as pick a cards, and it's always for your soul guidance. So if you are on this twin flame journey, or if you are just passionate about your soul journey and your journey in this life, this advice can really help you understand what you're going through and how to move forward, and just give you some perspective and insight. Obviously, it is a collective read, so it's not going to get too specific, but you can always order a reading from me. I have my website in the link below, DesireeNicoleLee.com, and I can always give you a personal reading. So I have selections that vary in price range from 25-minute readings to 45-minute readings to 1-hour Skype live readings. And I am a Reiki master, so there is energy healing that takes place as well, and that's just kind of like an extra gift, right? So today we are going to be doing a 4-card pick a card, trying to distinguish like what you're karmically clearing in the twin flame journey. Sometimes you can get a little confused if this is your energy or if it's your twin's energy, and sometimes it can just be confusing on like how to process it or what you should be doing. So this is going to give you some advice and guidance on that. It's also going to have the added benefit of giving you some clarity on what this looks like in the 3D world, and it should give some insight as well as to how close to coming into full physical union you are. As some of you know, I feel like most of you know, I am a twin in full physical union. We just had our 2-year full physical union anniversary in August. So we've been together for 2 years, and things are finally starting to level out. It's very intense coming into union, but I do believe it's different for everybody. And things like this, where we look at like how far advanced your divine masculine is on their soul journey, kind of gives you some insight into when union is going to come. Obviously, it varies, which is why I always encourage private readings. But before I get started, I just want to give a big shout out to my Patreons. Thank you so much for supporting me. I appreciate it a lot. It means a lot to me. And if you want to help support me for $1 a month, you can go to my Patreon page. I have the link in the description box below. And for that $1 a month, I provide a monthly timeline overview for the collective twin flames that are not in full physical union. So if you want some more of that content, it's a great way to get it for $1 a month. It's pretty darn cheap. So thank you to those of you that are already doing that. And if you want to just donate to me, I also have a link for that in my description box below. If you just feel like giving me some love, it's always appreciated. Many, many blessings. So yeah, share this video, like this video. I feel like I'm just like not in the algorithms for YouTube for some reason, and I'm providing such great content. I would love to have more people be viewing it. Obviously, I'm not getting any kind of AdSense money from Google. I'm not getting any kind of profit other than the spiritual karma profit of giving out good advice and being helpful to people. So even just your comments mean a lot to me. So thank you for that as well. Okay, so sometimes I just rush and then I don't get everything said, so I had to stop and record 3 times so I could get everything out. I'm really excited to do this reading. It's going to be like I only pulled a few cards to start with, and then it's going to be very organic as things unfold. So I'm kind of excited because I don't normally do that for you guys. Not for the groups anyway. All right, so we have group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4. Is this mine or is this his? It's really about like what's going on with you and your twin flame, right? That's really like, you can generalize the question out to that, or, you can get more specific in terms of trying to understand, what it is that you're feeling. And, the more specific you are before you pick your group in terms of setting that intention for yourself, I feel like the reading will make more sense to you because you can plug it into your question, right? So hopefully that makes sense to you. All right, so if you have not picked your group yet, go ahead and pause the video before I move on. And I'm going to go ahead and get started with group 1. Oh, and I will have the timestamps in the description box below for you. Hello, group 1. For you, we have for the divine masculine energy, his current state right now, he has from the Crystal Oracle, Azurite, expanded awareness. I feel like this divine masculine has been showing up a lot in my readings. This is an awakened divine masculine that is really having some enormous clarity in their life. And then the divine feminine has got 2 cards. She got Skull of Sight, which is peace, and Herkimer Diamond, which is dreams. So I was going to do this at the beginning, but I guess I'll just do it all the time. With mirroring, with twin flames, since we are split souls, the way we experience each other can be confusing, and it can also be incredibly in sync. When I was talking to my twin about the experience, I was saying, when we're further away from union, the mirror is like a funhouse mirror, like it's really distorted. And so when we, look in the direction of that mirror, when we're connecting with our twin, we're really getting a hard reflection on our own shit, okay? And it's obvious. But the closer you come into union, the more confusing it becomes because the mirror gets clearer, and so you can almost see through it, and you might even think that what they're experiencing is your very own. So there's always that distortion, but what I'm seeing here in terms of the overall energy for the divine masculine and the divine feminine is something that's incredibly harmonized, right? This divine masculine is very third eye connected. This is really getting like a shift of the veils of illusion when they are perceiving their life as much more honest and truthful, okay? And the divine feminine is really in this beautiful space of feeling a lot of peace and having a lot of like very clear dream memories. So interestingly, right? So here we're seeing a divine masculine kind of evolving into a higher state of consciousness, which equals peace. And we're seeing the divine feminine feeling a lot of clarity as well. And I'm feeling very safe and comfortable. Not that life is perfect for you divine feminines, but that it's not as hectic as it could be, I suppose. And then for your union energy card, we got 44, get to know each other, from the Whispers of Love Oracle. So learning to meet each other's needs for love is important for a relationship to grow. So, another thing that's like happening here is that this definitely is indicating a twin flame couple that is in conversation in the 3D world. And obviously when we're talking to each other, that mirror effect is also a lot clearer and easier to understand because we're actually talking to them and we're getting an idea of what they're going through. And typically at this level of the union journey, where you're in this kind of communication and they're in this clarity and your divine feminine is in this state of peace, typically we'll see a lot of like healthy conversations taking place where this divine masculine is able to communicate his concerns and he's not being so secretive or, and as many of you who have been on this journey long enough know that that's not always the case, right? So I'm definitely feeling like this is catered to the twins that are coming into full physical union for the next wave. But again, this is a collective read, but that's what's coming through for this energy. Now, I asked what is the divine masculine healing right now, and Right. So just to be clear, this getting to know each other, I feel, is absolutely conversation based, whether it's text or actually on the phone or in person, but there's like this new level of connection, okay? So the Divine Masculine, the shadow work they're healing, we have the Two of Cups from the Starman Tarot, and 31, Faith, which is another 4, right? So a lot of 4s in this here. So the Divine Masculine is healing any fears or doubts that he's had about connection, right? Two of Cups is beautiful union love, okay? So I feel that they're having this expanded awareness and they're starting to kind of confront any fears or doubts they have around being in union. Now, again, I just want to clarify that this may or may not mean that you two are talking about twin flames, okay? Like, I know not everybody has that conversation, but I do feel like those of you that are close to union are at that point where you either refer to it as soulmates or there's definitely a conversation of the uniqueness or the specialness of your connection. Like, that is a conversation, okay? So whether or not you choose to use the term twin flame, that's not important, but in terms of talking about some sort of divine destiny, that I feel is an important part of it, okay? In terms of like, when you're getting close to union, that conversation has happened or is going to happen real soon. So the Divine Masculine's shadow work is this, and so Spirit's telling me that the Divine Feminine might be feeling it almost like a little bit of a fear, like, is my Divine Masculine actually going to come into union? Like, maybe having the Divine Feminine is feeling the things the Divine Masculine is clearing, right? So the Divine Feminine is like starting to feel a little doubtful about their connection, starting to wonder if their divine counterpart is ever going to come through. And it's after there's been a really big breakthrough where you felt very certain that it's coming into union, right? So obviously every Divine Feminine experiences that doubt and that fear, but this is like a doubt and fear that comes after there's been a big conversation. And it is because they are clearing it and they are having to look towards their faith. Now, I love this. So, expanded awareness, I'm just making room here. The Divine Feminine's healing the 6 of Swords, and 32, which is a 5, Trust. To me, like, trust and faith are very similar. Trust is more, 3D, like with people and ourselves, I feel. Faith is more like spiritual, like leaps of faith. It's like unseen, right? This is more of a seen world. However, they do connect, obviously. But the 6 of Swords is like being a little too eager, being a little too anxious, right? And I'm definitely seeing them almost kind of having their own inner battle. So again, the Spirit's wanting me to mention the relevance to what the Divine Masculine is clearing and how this Divine Feminine is experiencing it. Like, maybe I was too assertive, maybe I said the wrong thing, maybe I did the wrong thing. Is this actually happening? Like, I just feel the Divine Feminine got very excited that union was coming. Then there was this pullback, and then they're like, oh, I was like too anxious, right? So I definitely feel like this is an eagerness, like that's the big overriding word, is eagerness. And you're being tested, you're clearing your issues around trust, okay? Around opening your heart is what Spirit's saying. That fear that you're challenged with, the 6 of Swords, that mental fear, is very much connected to some last like threads of healing in the heart where you're needing to, trust a little more and exercise faith. Again, on this journey, when you're at this level or at this stage in the union experience, most likely 99.9% of the time your Divine Masculine has somehow betrayed your trust. And so when we start to feel like they're trustworthy again, where we're seeing it in the 3D world, there's still like that vibrational impact in our heart space, and it is so deep because of all of our past hurts and experiences that we've had around love and being hurt and trust. Okay, so there's a vulnerability that the divine feminine is having to come up into, as well as the divine masculine, right? But it's so hard to discuss this mirroring separately, and then I feel like I start reiterating things that I've already discussed when I try to explain it even further. But I hope that that makes sense to you in terms of, this is what the divine masculine is healing, this is what the divine feminine is healing, and you're experiencing some of the reverb of this energy that they're clearing, because they're working on their faith and they're working on believing in a true love. So you already have that belief, but you have some doubts in their ability to come forward and step into it and show up. So from this point forward, we're doing just like a live poll, because when I tried to pick the cards before recording, I was getting a lot of resistance, so I just honored that, and I'm going more like right off the cusp here. How is this mirroring looking in the 3D world? And I always just want to put it out there, this is collective. It might get specific, but don't just like say that's not your group if it doesn't quite resonate, because a lot of those specifics are intended for the people that need to hear it the most. Okay, so angels of truth, love, and light, how is this soul healing looking like in the 3D world? We got challenging times, card 5. This is from the Psychic Tarot of the Heart, and I will put them up in a moment. We got blossom and take the lead. I feel like, I mean, any of you that have been following me for a long time probably own this deck, or at least have it memorized like I do. And then we have 21, embrace, and 2, find balance. I'm going to pull 3 more. I don't know why, but I am. We also have 1, new vitality, 8, success and growth, and 9, rest and recover. A ton of wands energy just right off the bat there. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that is happening, which the wands is like that fire element of creativity. Okay, so this is like a loose timeline, right? So how you're experiencing this mirroring healing work, we're having challenging times. Again, that's that resistance, that's that 6 of Swords that we were just talking about, okay? And feeling challenged to trust. But we see both of you, I mean, this is obviously more specific for the divine feminine because I feel that's the viewer, but I know there are some awakened divine masculines that watch twin flame readings, so it could apply to you if you are watching this and you're a divine masculine. Blossoming, this is like kind of, I just always see it as like starting to take all those tools that the magician has and really learn how to harness it and use it. Like this is an empowering energy. So the challenging time spirit saying is designed to push you into this new level of growth. And then we see you take the lead. So like there is this manifestation taking place. So, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and continue to read this for the divine feminine and then kind of go back over how it looks for the divine masculine as well. 21, that's another 3. This is the world card, embrace. This to me is like really, really symbolic of some sort of bonding experience with both the divine masculine and the divine feminine together. And it could be, you know, an intimate encounter or like a physical sexual experience, which we have a lot of fire, which is very passionate. Or it could be just a really in-depth conversation that takes place that is incredibly healing for the soul. And then we see this finding balance, which again is very symbolic of union energy. We have the 2 of Cups for the divine masculine. This is essentially the 2 of Pentacles. So it has to do with some other foundational like family and career healing and balancing. And then we see the new vitality, which is like new ideas, fresh starts, followed by success and growth, and then 9, rest and recover. So ultimately, the story that's being told is like a positive one. What I feel is happening is there's the clearing that's taking place here with the challenging times, moving into this blossoming energy and feeling very empowered. I see some significant real 3D progress taking place between you and your divine counterpart. And so Spirit's saying, I don't even really need to read for the divine masculine on this, because the two of you are in such perfect sync right now, and it feels so 3D to me. So, if you are not 3D, maybe this isn't your group, because this is so 3D. But brand new, fresh starts. I'm feeling like new promises are being made. I feel like there's like some new commitments or some discussions of the future that seem incredibly solid, with a lot of success and growth, and creating that bond and like full physical union, looking like an actual real thing and not just a dream anymore, which is interesting, right? Because the divine feminine had dreams as her overall energy. So I'm hearing too, it's like a dreams coming true energy for the divine feminine. And then we have the rest and recover. And that is so, like, I see it very often happen when there's it's like a tidal wave of love and good and positive change. Like a tidal wave comes through, and it's just so intense and so overwhelming. And there is, like Spirit's saying, and there is a little bit of the divine masculine being like, I'm still healing this 2 of Cups, this kind of lover's energy. I'm still like, I'm working towards it. I know I want it, but I'm not quite there yet, right? But it's Spirit saying, it's like they are not going to go backwards at this point. They may pull back a little bit, but it's not like it's going to go into a whole other direction of no communication again. Maybe limited, right? But not no communication again. So I do feel like the divine feminine is going to be feeling very trustworthy with their divine counterpart, and this rest and recover is more like I'm feeling like a daydreaming, like sweet kind of calming resting place of just like certainty, and being comfortable with the silence, being comfortable with where things are at. Yeah. So I'm just gonna scoop these and say, what is the result? Yeah. So that is like what it's looking like in the 3D world. So what is the end result of this, Spirit? They're saying, in terms of the wave that I've been predicting, which isn't so much prediction as a reality to me at this point. I feel like there's always a lot of twin flame unions or significant jumps in the twin flame experience during the Lionsgate portal in August. But I have been getting a lot of people that are looking at some almost like near complete unions by February or March. But we're going to go ahead and just say, what is the result of this? And I'm going to let the divine tell me when this result card is happening. Okay, Angels of Truth, Love, and Light, what is the result of this transition? What does it look like at the end? And you can let me know when that is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What is the result? Let your past go. The burden of carting your past around has made you weary, dear one. It's time to set this burden down. Keep only the lessons and the love, and leave everything else behind. You don't want it or need it, and it's now gone. There it is. Beautiful. So they're saying that like these fears, this 6 of Swords stuff around trust and is gone. That's the result. You get to move into a whole new level of love and like a renewed faith and just a deeper level of trust with your divine counterpart. So the angel guidance message that Spirit wants to leave us with, I guess I'll go back to the whispers of love. Angel guidance message that you want to leave us with for this group 1, Spirit. What is the angel guidance message? Oh. Receive with love and appreciation. Receiving something lovingly from others is a way of showing love. And consider your foundation. You are being asked to look at how committed you are to love. So card 50 and card 34, which is the 7. Yeah, I mean, so I feel like Spirit's really saying, like, you've got to let the past go in order for all this to really work. In terms of this prediction of the timeline that we did with the Psychic Tarot of the Heart, they're saying that in order for it to unfold and manifest in that way, you have to really look at where you are feeling stuck around your trust issues and actually heal them. You can't just wish them away. You can't be like, I do trust, I totally trust, and then still have those lingering doubts. Spirit's saying, you know, if you are having those doubts, have that conversation with your divine counterpart. Give your divine masculine an opportunity to ease your mind, you know, and to show up as being an honest individual. I really do feel like this divine masculine is in a space of integrity. Not to say that they always have been, right? But I feel like at this point in time that they are going to be completely honest with you. And so if you are having any fears or doubts, you know, to be communicative about it and to allow yourself to receive that. You know, there's that giving and receiving energy, and, you know, to consider the foundation. You are being asked to look at how committed you are to love, right? So I experienced this too shortly before coming into full physical union, where I started to get really scared and be like, okay, if this is really happening, like, I'm going to have to open my heart more than I already have. It's like, how to explain it? It's easier to open your heart when it's more of a fantasy and it's not real. But when it's real and they're moving their stuff into your house, you know, it's a little more scary, and it starts to become that level of fear of getting your heart broken. And so again, you know, exercise that trust and, you know, keep yourself in a space of peace, and realizing that you deserve for your dreams to come true, and that it's not just your dream, it's your divine masculine's dream too. And so really, really beautiful reading. You know, it's funny, I prefer to end with these super positive ones because they're not all always super positive, but many, many blessings to you on your journey. Thank you, Group 1. Hello, Group 2. Welcome to your reading. So first I pulled some cards to take a look at the overall energy of both the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine. I also pulled a Union energy card. So what we have here for the Divine Masculine is rhodochrosite, I think that's right, acceptance, okay? That's their current energy. And the Divine Feminine got one of the few master teacher cards from the Crystal Oracle called Divine Temple Source. This is quartz crystal, sometimes smoky quartz, or it could be amethyst. And then the Union energy is card 15, which is a 6. Practice compassion, see things from a different perspective. So both of you are in this space of trying to change the way you look at things. And for the Divine Masculine, they're really entering some new stages of acceptance. What I'm feeling is that their actions have kind of taken them into a place where there's a tower-like effect. I feel like there's been some really negative karma that has come back into their life, either, you know, through accidents, like car accidents, or you know, taking some sort of money, like financial hit, or, you know, maybe having, if they're still involved in a karmic relationship and they've been entertaining you as well, maybe getting caught, I just feel like this divine masculine has kind of been, quote, beat into submission and really being pushed into a space of questioning their actions, questioning where they're at in their life, and, kind of having, like, I'm also feeling like healing from addictions, like an addictive behavior, maybe with drugs or alcohol, where, if they have been abusing drugs, they're not really themselves, right? When you are under the influence of addiction, it does impact your ability to feel, right? Because it is a numbing agent. So I just feel like this divine masculine is like gotten sober, either literally or metaphorically, that has really been rendered into this space of accepting who they are and where they are, taking ownership over the choices they've made that have put them into the place they're in. Like, I'm definitely seeing kind of like a wounded soldier here, and it has a positive effect, right? It is causing them to feel more into their heart, to possibly feel a little regret and be looking for forgiveness, looking to right wrongs is what Spirit's saying. And then here we're seeing this divine feminine and this beautiful teacher card. And because it's a master teacher card, I wanted to actually read a little bit from the book for you, which I'm not doing for the other groups unless they have no, you're the only one with a master teacher card. The Divine Temple, one of the master teacher crystals, is one of the most powerful crystals on the planet. It acts as a temple of divine light and divine connection to the higher realms and source energy. This crystal invites you to enter deeply into her inner temple to receive divine wisdom and love from the universe. It restores your deep connection to self and all that allows you to experience inner peace and clarity. The devas of the Divine Temple Crystal are here to assist you to connect, attune, and align to the Akashic Records, which, if you're not familiar, is a plane of existence where all the past, present, and future exists in a library. Okay? So to align with the Akashic Records, a place held within the universe where every thought, feeling, and experience, oh, they put it in here, from every lifetime are recorded and stored. And this powerful crystal is called a divine temple because it is a place to enter and connect with the divine source of the universe. When you sit in union with this powerful crystal, the gates of heaven open and you connect to all that is. This divine temple of light is a sacred place to receive renewal, meditation, and healing, and to access universal wisdom. So what I'm getting in terms of the current energy, and I'm actually going to move into the actual shadow healing, that's karma healing that's taking place between the two of you as well, because it's relevant. But what I'm seeing here is this is how the mirroring takes place, right? The divine masculine is feeling wounded from his or her own actions, okay? They're getting a karmic payback for the things they put out. And the divine feminine is in a space of needing to heal, and also being wounded by most likely the actions of the divine masculine, but Spirit wants me to say you could also be wounded by your own false expectations that you've placed either on your divine masculine or on God to make your union happen, and you're feeling a bit of betrayal energy and really needing to kind of take a look and take a step back at the bigger picture and to nurture yourself. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go forward, right? And so yeah, the both of you are needing to practice compassion. Spirit's saying as the divine feminine needs to do it more for themselves, whereas the divine masculine needs to be more aware of how they are impacting everybody else in their life. And so then here we're seeing in terms of like what is the shadow or the wound or shadow or the karma healing that's taking place. We have the Prince of Wands for the divine masculine with card 44, Supermoon Attraction. Both incredibly fiery, over-ambitious energies on the reverse, okay? Like too assertive, solar plexus, like enormous, could be arrogance, could be ego, right? These are things of how we perceive it, like very egoic, overly confident, overly assertive, tries to make things bend to their will, okay? And they are a powerful manifestors. And so, this is something you can see where people that manifest things aren't necessarily really great and good and wholesome people all the time. They're just somebody that has this very strong conviction and a ton of motivation and self-discipline. But just because you have those qualities that are positive doesn't mean you're using them in a positive way, right? So I'm definitely sensing that this divine masculine is a little over the top. They're like a go-getter, and while it has maybe proven to be successful for most of their life, they're learning that it's not always the best way to be. And so they're healing the negative aspects of these positive qualities and, trying to cool it down a little. And B, having this awareness that they do attract these things. And so I'm hearing them taking a little accountability for their actions, and accountability for the results, because I'm hearing they've gotten a lot of drama. So they're starting to finally receive the clue that they're a part of the drama and that they've instigated it in some way, or that they haven't prevented it, I'm definitely, like, Spirit's telling me that this divine masculine could be one that is, a cheater, a narcissist, a liar. I mean, those are extreme cases, okay? But I do get the sense that this is not a divine masculine that's 100% honest or faithful. So I do feel like this divine masculine really likes to control and manipulate things to work in their favor. And so, and it makes sense, right? So, like, as I mentioned earlier, I am a twin in union, and I've been doing twin flame readings for 3 years now or more. And I went through the journey too, and I'll just go, kind of jumping the gun. This divine feminine needs to practice self-love and is healing being overly pleasing with the Ten of Cups. So this divine feminine doesn't love herself as much as she should, or they should. This divine feminine is always overextending themselves, is always giving too much, is being very forgiving and understanding all of the time, despite the fact that their feelings are hurt, despite the fact that they're pissed off and they feel taken advantage of. They don't stand up for themselves. They don't say what they feel or mean. And I'm getting like I want to cry about it. It's so intense, and I see this all the time, and it's like I feel like I'm one of those tough love readers. Like, I'm here to tell you, like, that is not a healthy or beautiful spiritual way to live. Like, you aren't being the ultimate spiritual person by letting everybody walk all over you, including your twin, but other people too, right? You're not enlightened because you don't ever let yourself get mad, because trust me, you want to get mad when somebody betrays you or takes advantage of you, and for you to say, it's all love and light, it's okay, they're on their journey, that's bullshit. And it's not fair. It's true, okay, don't get me wrong, it is true, they are on their journey, but their journey just so happened to hurt you, and part of that, them hurting you, is the reason you needed that hurt to heal the things that it triggered. And I talk about this all the time, right? So, it's like, this divine feminine is very negligent of themselves and doesn't respect themselves as much as they should. And the mirror opposite of that is this overly ambitious, kind of domineering, like self-absorbed person, right? And I like to say it this way too, on an energetic level. You, divine feminine, are hoarding all of the generosity and the compassion and the giving energy, and therefore the divine masculine has none. So if it's incentive for you to stand up for yourself and to take on a little bit more of this they're imbalanced in the negative, right, with this, which is what you need more of. So if you take some of that from them and give them some of your shit, then there's that balancing, right? So beautiful, right? Then you're helping them heal, and that's what we're doing. We're kind of exchanging energy, right? So in terms of union, you know, this, while I always like to preface when I say statements like this with miracles can happen, and I do fully and wholeheartedly believe in miracles, and I do believe that things can happen overnight. I really, really do. But generally, the way this stuff rolls out, I mean, you're looking at definitely not this next phase in August. Again, miracles can happen, okay? But in terms of what it looks like right now, this isn't like the next wave of union. Which, instead of being brokenhearted about that statement, I would rather you be like, oh, okay, well, then that means that I can get closer to union if I work on loving myself, and I work on standing up for myself and honoring the things that I think are of value. And, you know, it takes effort to learn how to balance that stuff. You know, sometimes you turn the volume up to 10 instead of to a 5 when you stand up for yourself, but that's okay. Then you forgive yourself, right? It's all part of the journey, all part of the process. So from here, what I am doing is just pulling the cards off the deck. I haven't pre-pulled, okay? So let's take a look. This is kind of like, what does all this look like in the 3D world, right? And this is mostly catered towards the Divine Feminine, especially since I feel like this twin flame couple is in very limited to no communication in the 3D world. So I will be doing this timeline pull for the Divine Feminine in particular. However, if you are a Divine Masculine listening to this, then you can interpret the message for yourself. Okay, so Angels of Truth, Love, and Light. How does this current situation for group 2 look like in our real 3D experience? We have 2, spread your wings. So I'm going to pull and then I'll share, okay? 6, believe and succeed. There's so much fire in these cards. 13, release. 7, daydreams and decisions. 8, dedicated effort. 16, rebuild. 19, shine. I'll pull one more. Oh, strengthening bonds. Cool. Knew there was a reason why I pulled one more. Okay, so here we're seeing the Divine Feminine spread their wings. We have this beautiful message coming through from the Divine that they want to help you. They want you to understand the karma and what you're clearing, and they want you to, I also want to mention that I feel that this Divine Feminine isn't really confused on what is theirs and what is their twins. But I do feel that this Divine Feminine blames their twin for a lot of stuff, and it's time for you to kind of own up and take some responsibility for what you're not doing to take care of you. Just needed to put that out there. So we're seeing the Divine Feminine kind of get on this path to the Divine Temple, right? Going and spreading their wings and opening up into this space of healing and insight and clarity and love, and having this renewed sense of belief in themselves, and succeeding on practicing the more self-love, and succeeding on, you know, getting into a deeper soul journey with themselves, and realizing how their expectations have, you know, created the situation or the circumstance that they're in, and understanding this balancing of energy between you and your divine counterpart. And card 13, which is a 4, release, like it's a peeling off, a shedding of skin. I'm definitely feeling like a sense of relief, a sense of ownership, an empowerment. I'm seeing almost like a Divine Feminine that has been cleansed and has purged all that lower density vibration, and is really like unveiling what a beautiful shining light they are, and moving into this space of daydreaming again, and making some decisions in terms of like how they handle any communication from their divine counterpart. Because one of the scenarios is that you are in communication with a divine counterpart, but your divine counterpart is only calling you when they need something, when they want you to tell them how awesome they are, or how you believe in them, or whatever. Like, this is a divine feminine that's like, oh, I'm not going to respond to your text. I'm going to actually go out with my girlfriends and get our nails done, or whatever you're going to do. But I'm definitely seeing this divine feminine not only feeling kind of a renewed sense of hope in the twin flame journey, okay, but also feeling more motivated to get their shit together in terms of like truly embodying an awakened divine feminine. And they do that by putting out some dedicated effort. And I love the dedicated effort card in this deck because it is like Jesus and Mary Magdalene. But so dedicated effort towards union, obviously, but that looks like dedicated effort towards healing themselves. I mean, the self-love is the biggest message for this group. And we see it being followed with the 16 rebuild, or 7. That's our tower energy. So, not to worry. I feel like the tower energy is, obviously it can be scary, but I also see it as really positive, because without there being some sort of significant loss, we can't have significant growth. So, and I do feel like this tower isn't like one of those super like my life's falling apart towers. It's more like all the crap that I've been wanting to fall down and get out of my life is falling down and getting out of my life. Like, I just feel like this is a very, very positive tower energy of like old shit just moving out. And then it's followed by the divine feminine shining card 19, which is a 10 near completion number, right? 10 is a completion number. So just like being the light, living their truth. I just feel this divine feminine has like at the beginning of the reading, this divine feminine is in the space of real like depression even. And this is a complete turnaround, of just feeling awake and alive and inspired. And, really exercising a lot of self-respect. And then we see it followed by strengthening bonds. So, in terms of when I do these kinds of like timeline type things, it's like the self-love, all this stuff that I talked about that needs to happen. And if it does happen, then this will follow suit. And the strengthening bonds obviously is incredibly suggestive in terms of a new, healthy level of communication between you and your divine counterpart. Okay, so a lot of growth here. Definitely, like, I mean, I feel good about it because it starts in a little bit of a heavy space, but it moves into a positive space. So there is that to look forward to. And then for the final, for the result of how this unfolds, Spirit. So what is a message you would like to give from the Angel Oracle as a resulting card? What is the result if the Divine Feminine follows this guidance? What is the result? Acceptance. No way, you guys. Right? So just a reminder, acceptance is the Divine Masculine's current energy, and the result of Divine Feminine doing all this work is acceptance. See yourself and others through the eyes of the angels with unconditional love and acceptance. In this way, you inspire and lift everyone to their highest potential. Wow, that's beautiful. I'm so about it. Right? So, in terms of like the mirroring experience, right? That's a direct and obvious mirror, right? And this acceptance is more in the energy of divine temple, like love and healing. This acceptance, in terms of how it showed up for the Divine Masculine in the reading today, is more about being rendered into a space of acceptance, right? So this is like more of a surrendering acceptance, and this is also surrender, but also action, but that really does help also kind of confirm that strengthening bonds. And I did mention, that your overly generous heart is your need to share that. That's part of the mirroring for you guys as well, right? And then the final guidance message from our Whispers of Love. Final guidance message from the Whispers of Love Oracle. Thank you, God. Thank you, angels. What is your final guidance message for group 2? Consider your foundation. Card 50. This is the exact same card that group 1 got, by the way, which I always love, because even though we're in different parts of our journey, there's always some overriding messages that apply to everybody across the board. And in this case, it says you are being asked to look at how committed you are to love. And in your case, it's are you overly committed, right? Because I do feel like that's what's being said, it's your heart is so big and so beautiful, and we don't want to shame or judge you for that. It's a beautiful thing, but you got to love yourself first, and that's the most important thing you can do. So how committed, like Spirit's just saying, how committed are you to loving yourself? How is your foundation of love with you? Because if you don't love yourself, ain't nobody gonna love you, right? RuPaul. So I am sending you all so much love and light, many, many blessings on your journey, group 2. Hello, group 3. Welcome to your pick a card reading. For the first few cards, I picked the current energy of the Divine Masculine, the current energy of the Divine Feminine, and then your union energy. So for the Divine Masculine, we got Morganite, relationship healing. And for the Divine Feminine, we got Black Obsidian, the shadow. I mean, these are some pretty intense energies. The union energy was 2222, the heart of the matter. There is more going on than meets the eye. Recognize what this is all about. So beautiful. The details in this artwork is so hard for you to see, but it's gorgeous. So I really feel like as a union energy, the both of you have been undergone a significant change. And this is true for every group because of the karma clearing and what's going on astrologically right now. But for this team, or this union couple, we see the Divine Masculine healing relationship wounds. And so this could suggest that they are ending a karmic relationship, but it could also suggest that they are healing any relationships they have in terms of opening their heart to being in a relationship. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they currently are involved in anything, but it could suggest that they are really taking a look at where they need to heal the things that are preventing them from being in love and having love. I do feel like there has been an occurrence in this karmic healing for them. And we'll see some more in a moment when I take a deeper look at what each of you are healing, okay? But I do feel that they are kind of frustrated with things not being what they feel they should be. So it does lean towards discussion of a Divine Masculine that is either in a karmic relationship or kind of playing touch and go with a karmic, where they still don't quite understand why they keep going back to them when they know that it's not a healthy, it's a toxic relationship. That is the definition of a karmic relationship. And here we're seeing the Divine Feminine with Black Obsidian in the shadow. This is so much about protection and feeling depleted and needing to clarify boundaries and definitely feeling vulnerable, and I'm getting the word raw, and so you too, Divine Feminine, are taking a look at this bigger picture, right? You're looking at the heart of the matter. And so while it's not clear yet from Spirit, I do feel like this could be catered to either twins that have, intermittent communication that isn't really of the healthiest kind. It's always making the divine feminine feel taken advantage of, or are in like little to no communication at all. But this is just, the karma healing that's taking place for the divine feminine. They're all spirits telling me that this too could be a divine feminine that is getting out of a toxic relationship or a toxic behavioral pattern, like addiction. So then when I take a look at what is the shadow, what is being healed, the divine masculine has the Hierophant, card 5, and Patience, card 36, which is a 9, and it is a green corn moon, by the way. And then the divine feminine has 0, Sacred Clown, which is the Fool, and 21, which is a 3, Waning Gibeus 5, Resilience. So is that 2 5s? I thought it was not. This is a 5. There's 2 5s. Okay, so the divine masculine with this Hierophant card, I feel like both of you are being asked to take a step back and spend some time to yourselves. There's definitely like a need to heal and reflect. And we're seeing this with the divine masculine where, wow, I just got a flash of a man in a library or at school, but it does feel very library like with books and taking notes, like it's like a very, like I'm getting a very high degree college, like somebody studying for law. Wow, that was super specific. But anyway, this divine masculine, and that might be you know what I'm saying? But yeah, and they're asking to be patient with themselves. It's so interesting. I want to just actually just sit down and write it out because I have it all in here, but like in terms of like laying it out, it would be better for me to understand it myself. But I do know for certain that in terms of the twin flame journey, obviously they do manifest in different ways, and there's different categories, and it is connected to levels of union and how the divine masculine is experiencing life, and basically like how selfish they are, and then how selfless the divine feminine is, which is kind of like group 2. If you want to understand that better, you can take a look at their reading. But I haven't done group 4, so I don't know what they're going to get. But so I feel like this divine masculine is like a little naive in terms of fully being connected to the idea of destiny and faith. I do feel like they do feel drawn to you. They do think of you. But they have a lot of like mental constructs either around religion or, they could potentially be married to somebody, or it could be, like a race thing or a sex thing if you're same sex and they're not out of the closet yet. I mean, that's like the kind of level of block that I'm talking about, where it's like not a quick and easy block to fix. These are things that can be difficult and challenging to clear, but Spirit just wants me to mention that divine destiny can come in and help shake that up real quick, but in terms of this relationship healing, I do feel like this divine masculine is trying to heal themselves by doing some more time on what they are passionate about. So it could be, doing self-development stuff, but it could also be, studying for a degree of some kind or researching for a project, kind of putting their mind somewhere else. And they are practicing patience in terms of knowing that the level of healing that they need is going to take time. So what I was saying is, while I do feel that this divine masculine isn't incredibly tapped into like spiritual law, I do feel like they have a divinely guided system in place through their angels where there is an inner knowing, and it's just how they connect with it and how they relate with it isn't quite clear, but it's happening anyway. Okay, so I do feel like they're in this space of practicing patience, of investing some time and energy in something other. But the one of the benefits is going to be healing, and again, it is to be reminded that they're either studying stuff that is going to help them. They're like reading self-development books, or they're investing in something they're passionate about, which is also very healing. So it is a matter of them just how this divine masculine is healing themselves, and it is about preparing to be in union, whether it's conscious or unconscious. And then this divine feminine has got this protection from the black obsidian with the sacred clown energy, and this resilience. I feel like this divine feminine is very exhausted. I feel like this divine feminine has actually been doing a ton of shadow work and really feels like, what else could I possibly clear? I feel like this divine feminine is fully aware of what they're healing, and they too have been healing their relationship stuff around love and the relationship with their father, or their male role model in their lives, possibly somebody who's gone through a divorce, or a live-in karmic relationship situation that felt like a marriage. So I do feel like this divine feminine has taken on too much. I feel like this is, Spirit's saying that one of the potential scenarios here is a divine feminine that does have children from a karmic relationship. And in one specific case, like they're saying, in one specific case, this is a divine feminine that actually had a child with their twin flame way back when they were young, and they ended up separating, but they still have a child from their twin. What an interesting scenario. So that's one specific message. If that's you, comment below. But yeah, so I feel like this divine feminine is just exhausted, and Spirit's saying, you don't need to carry all this by yourself. We will help you. We want you to, while the Fool energy can be very positive and optimistic, this is more of taking on too much, being a little naive about what you can and can't do. And so they're just saying, learn how to balance your time a little more. They're saying that for parents in particular, there's a lot of guilt involved around taking some time for you, and they just want me to remind you that if you are depleted and drained, you're not going to be as great of a parent as you could be, as if you gave yourself a little bit of time and space to feel rested. I just feel like you're exhausted, and they also want me to tell you that you're doing a really an amazing job in life in general, that you're winning, and it may not feel like it, but you are, and that you too can practice a little bit of patience. And so yeah, how this is mirroring is really interesting, because this divine masculine doesn't feel stressed out at all, whereas this divine feminine has a heavy workload. So I do feel like there could be a little bit of giving and receiving energy here, just in terms of allowing yourself to release what you feel is necessary in terms of coming into union, to not add that task on your to-do list, because there's other things to do, but you should take on a little bit more of that study, self-study energy, or a little bit more patience and time with yourself, and that they could take on a little bit more of this resilience, so that's how that mirroring is taking place. So these are the only cards that I have pre-pulled. The next set of cards I'm going to pull right off the top, which, I haven't done this for a group pick a card yet, where I just pull on camera, and I really like how it's working, because I put the other cards from the previous groups back in the deck, and it gives the cards an opportunity to repeat if need be, So here we're taking a look at what this shadow healing, this mirroring, what it looks like in the real world. And it's kind of like a timeline experience, and it is catered primarily to the divine feminine. So if you are divine masculine watching this, then you can feel free to interpret it in your own way. But I do cater to the divine feminine since they are primarily the ones that watch these videos. So congratulations to you, divine masculine, if you are awake and aware. So angels of truth, love, and light, how is this mirroring healing work manifesting in the 3D world? Darkest fears, card 9. So I'm going to pull these and then put them up. If you know the Psychic Tarot by heart, like many people do, then you need to see them, right? Moving into 2, spread your wings. That is a repeat card. Moving into release, also a repeat. Interesting. From release, going into choose your battles, to blossom, another repeat card. Ooh. From blossom, going into sadness and isolation. From sadness and isolation, going into finding balance. From finding balance, going into dreams come true. Well, thank goodness, man. This is friggin' a wild ride you guys have. There's a lot going on. Whew, yeah, I'm just gonna tell you to breathe a lot right now. So, here we're seeing at the start the darkest fears, card 9. I definitely feel like this divine feminine, that energy I was picking up on of feeling just depleted and exhausted and like everything's so much and there's a lot, I definitely feel like there's been some, like, and part of the clearing is like the darkest fears coming true. Like your divine masculine said they hate you and they never want to talk to you again, or whatever your darkest fear is, that you're never going to get that job that you dreamed you were going to have, or maybe you were a dancer and you got injured and now you cannot be a dancer anymore. So Spirit just wants me to say, like, these things come up for us to look at and to heal, and that this divine feminine is really doing a lot of deep shadow wound work, and it's primarily because you've either been too busy or not interested in dealing with a lot of significant and painful trauma. We all experience different levels of trauma. And I just feel like this divine feminine is like one of those people that get the comment, oh, you're so wise for your age, or you're so mature for your age. Like, I feel like they're a very old soul in a young body that has dealt with a lot of trauma just from all sides. So Spirit's bringing that up to say, like, when we continually live in a pattern of pain and suffering, it takes a lot of effort to clear it and to stop it from repeating. So if you are experiencing these darkest fears right now, to remember that that is something you have trained and conditioned yourself to expect, unfortunately. And so you really need to deprogram that, and it can be done through affirmations and, constantly being aware of the thoughts and the things you think and say and do, even if you fake it till you make it. Like, everything's working out for me, even when it's not, it is. And I may not be able to see it, but I'm open to know, stuff like that. So, then it's like it's up and down, up and down, up and down. So here we're seeing these darkest fears, but it propels you to spread your wings. So, obviously you are a resilient divine feminine. This is like, you are trained to deal with trauma, and yeah, Spirit's saying that it's almost like a bipolar energy, where it's like, you almost thrive off of the darkest fears because it really propels you upward. And that would make so much sense why your reading is so up and down and up and down, as positive as not, as positive as not, that makes a lot of sense. You need to get off that roller coaster. I feel like you're like starting to realize that it's not that rewarding after all. And yeah, it does feel like very bipolar. Not literally, although it could be, and if it is, you need to get on your medication. That's definitely a very serious chemical imbalance, right? But you just energetically, it definitely feels that way across the board for everyone, okay, for this group. So then we see you move from this really positive space of like stepping into the light and wanting to embrace hope and exercise faith and feel love, into 13 release, which is also a positive card, like the shedding of the fears, the letting it go, the opening into the future, and feeling a significant amount of growth, right? So just to be clear, like I don't feel like this Divine Feminine is like not doing the journey properly. You are doing it exactly how you should be. But in terms of like getting rid of that imbalance in your union energy and in your life, just take a look at your patterns, okay? But we do see you, kind of moving forward, and maybe that's where you are going to take a look, because we see in you choosing your battles. Like I do feel like you're kind of drawn to the more drama choice, and maybe you don't perceive it as being the drama choice, but it is, and it can be like, your divine masculine wants to go on a date with you, but they're married, and you know that if you go on a date with them, that their wife might find out, but you're okay with that because you want to be with them, and maybe she knows where you work, and she's gonna throw a Slurpee at your window. I don't know. These things just come out, okay? But it's like, is that the right choice to make, or would it be wiser to make that choice another time, right? So we're seeing you being kind of confronted with this opportunity to like make the like less dramatic choice, or the more dramatic choice. And I do feel like you kind of step into this space of embracing your power and kind of wielding it more properly. I still do feel like Spirit's telling me like you're still kind of caught in between like what is the right thing to do and what do I want, like I feel like there's definitely some conflict in what you want and what you know is right. And so you're still you know that you are powerful and that you're able to choose either one. So I do feel like there's a consciousness here, but also a conflict in terms of like, do I give myself what I want, or do I give myself what I need, because right now they're not the same. So you've got to give yourself what you need. So we see you move into this area of like feeling like you have a choice to make, feeling like you have this power to wield, and you move into this sadness and isolation. I mean, it does suggest that you go and give yourself what you want, which ends up like hurting you, and making you feel like rejected, or making you feel ashamed, even like, oh, I could have prevented this, and so Spirit's just saying, don't beat yourself up. Like there's no reward in that. But do, start to be more accountable for your actions. I am hearing that you're an incredibly powerful manifester, and you have a strong ability to make things happen. I am feeling like this Divine Feminine is also involved in a karmic relationship and is potentially hurting this person that she is spending time with, or they are spending time with. And so we see this Divine Feminine move from sadness and isolation to balance. So again, they go back and they correct it, right? Here's this swinging back up, right? Everything's cool. I'm leveling out. I know how to do this. I got it under control. And then the dreams come true. So we're getting like a lot of joy and like happiness from making that choice. So again, there's not really an end result in here. It is positive, clearly. We do see this dreams coming true energy. I don't feel like it's in relationship to coming into full union because clearly there's still a lot of like healing and balancing that needs to take place. This is like a smaller win, but it's still a win, damn it. I do feel like this divine feminine is having like a shift, like in terms of the timeline, having a shift of awareness and like accountability and really striving to find more balance in their life. It's very interesting, I do feel like this divine feminine has more of the masculine energy, and then the divine masculine has more of the feminine energy in terms of our stereotypes of what is expected of a man and expected of a woman, right? So this divine feminine definitely feels more like a traditional divine masculine experience in the twin flame journey. So it could just be a tipping of energy, like exchange of feminine and masculine energy. So what is the result of this timeline, Angels of Truth, Love, and Light? What is the resulting message that you would like to get from the angels' guidance? What is the result? Thank you, thank you, thank you. For group 3, Divine Feminine. No way, let your past go. This came through for group 1. The burden of carting your past around has made you wary. Let me start again. The burden of carting your past around has made you wary, dear one. It's time to set this burden down. Keep only the lessons and the love and leave everything else behind. You don't want it or need it, and it's now gone. I love that. That's a beautiful, positive message. To me, that gives me the confirmation that I was hoping to receive from the timeline reading, that this divine feminine is really having some grander awareness of their actions, and is learning how to, is understanding why they make the choices they make, and choosing to, in terms of choosing the battle, right? Choosing to make more positive choices. And so Spirit's just saying, the minute you make that choice, the angels rush in to help, okay? But it's not an overnight situation. It might even only take a week or a month, or it could take longer, but if you make the choice, just stay committed, have faith that you will be guided into healing the things that need to be healed in order for you to live a more balanced life, and to have that twin flame union, which I honestly feel like this divine feminine is kind of like, whatever, screw him. Okay, and then for the final guidance message, right, so this is the result of the timeline, right? You're going to let your past go. There's going to be some forgiveness, some powerful clearing, a lot of, I feel like a stepping into integrity space, and then the final guidance message from the Whispers of Love is 8. Love who you are. You are a divine and wonderful person, deserving all of the wonderful things that life has to offer. Oh, I love that, And so to me, I got like, that's really like the underlying wound that needs to be healed, is just, and this is true for many divine feminine, or for all divine feminine. We all have to go through a realization of self-worth, and like what I'm worthy of, and why don't I think I'm worthy of these things, and who taught me that, and can I forgive them, and using repetition with affirmations of like, I am worthy of love. I am worthy of being treated right. I am worthy of success. I am worthy of happiness. I deserve love, right? I am love. I'm sending you guys so much love and light. Many, many blessings to you. And I am very optimistic that this is going to work. I know this is going to work out for your greatest good and highest joy. Take care. Hello, group 4. Here we are, providing you your messages from the divine. For the first few cards I pulled, what is your divine masculine's overall energy, what is your overall energy, and what is your union energy? So we got for the divine masculine, agate, healthy body. The divine feminine has citrine, abundance. And the union, number 4, you are limitless. Recognize this truth. You can do anything you choose to do. So here we're seeing the divine masculine in a space of like trying to heal their body, their physical space. So this can be through diet, exercise. Maybe they're not getting enough sleep and they want to get more sleep. But it's definitely like a physical. It's physical energy. So it could also be like toxic behavior, maybe drinking too much or partying too much. But definitely like focusing on like, wow, I feel like shit. I don't want to feel like shit anymore. So I feel like the divine masculine is in a space of like trying to set some new goals for themselves, like trying to be more, not motivated, but taking more action oriented towards getting themselves in a space where they physically feel good and have energy. Like I just feel like they feel like either overweight is the big one that's coming through, but like sluggish and tired. So overworked could be it too. And here we're seeing the divine feminine asking or is in the current space of like being more open to receiving abundance in their life. I feel like this divine feminine is like on the path of law of attraction, is doing a lot of affirmation work and is working on bringing more good things into their life. This is definitely like a more healthy and stable divine feminine. This is a divine feminine that has been doing the work for quite a while and is very much in the space of feeling limitless and almost like I feel like she or they are in this space of learning the power of that attitude of I am limitless and everything is happening for my greatest good. And I just feel like this divine feminine either has been working with it or is currently learning about it and practicing it, or is like starting to be open to it. But in either one, any one of those like variants, this divine feminine is very much about like manifestation power and welcoming, like knowing their worth, okay, and welcoming and opening up to receive the good things that are coming their way. And this divine masculine is tapping into the limitless attitude of like, I can change the way I feel about my body. Like I can choose to feel healthy. I can, make that change in my diet. I can go out and exercise every day. I can adjust my workload so that I can get enough sleep. So I do feel like both of these scenarios are very positive in terms of what each the divine masculine and the divine feminine are feeling. In terms of the karmic wound that they are healing or the shadow, the divine masculine has card 12, which is a 3 for the hanged man, and I just realized these are double 12s. Card 12, which is a 3, a change in the wind. 2 3s. And the divine feminine has Ace of Swords for her or his karma clearing, and come to the edge, card 36, which is a 9. So we're seeing this divine masculine who has kind of been in this space of, who has been in this space of not doing anything, like kind of like, I don't want to make any decisions, I don't want to take any action, I just want to wait. And, I feel like they've just been kind of wanting things to happen for them, or they haven't wanted to make a decision because it involves like, maybe hurting somebody else's feelings or cutting time off from somebody else. But there's a change in the wind and they have no choice, right? So I feel like the Spirit's saying they're either already hip to making these changes for their life, so they're saying this could also be a toxic person, partner, or relationship with business. But they're starting to realize that somebody's feelings are going to have to get hurt. And they can't be the hangman forever, so they need to make some decisions. The change is happening. They have no choice, and so they are, right? So it's either like currently happening or they've already made steps towards this and the change is already happening. But like, it's just different levels of time. How's that? Okay. But give or take, they are already in this space or are entering into this space. And then the divine feminine is having like this fresh, new like clarity with the Ace of Swords and feeling called to take more risk and come to the edge of like putting themselves out there and knowing that like those risks equal reward, and if they put themselves out there that they can get the abundance and they can reap the benefits. To me, like in terms of what's happening with the mirroring energy, it's very, very similar. Both the divine masculine and the divine feminine are in this ebb of change and they know it. I feel like this divine feminine is slightly more elevated because they're dealing with manifestation power, which is much more upper body chakra, like throat chakra and third eye chakra, crown chakra, obviously, where, the divine masculine is more physical. This is like, the heart is obviously always a part of it because that's our bridging chakra, but very much more root chakra oriented here, as well as solar plexus, a little bit of the sacral, but like willpower and determination, motivation. I feel like they've been slacking and they can't slack anymore, and they know it, and they're taking action. And this divine feminine is just like, I just have to take more risk. Like I have to be willing to put. So my card got full and it stopped recording. So this divine feminine has a lot of mental clarity. I feel like a lot of renewed passion and interest in making things happen. And this divine masculine is kind of being pushed and forced into making change. So then we take a look at how is this manifesting in the 3D world? What does this like clearing look like? And this is definitely catered more towards the divine feminine because they are my primary viewers. If you happen to be an awakened divine masculine, congratulations to you, and you can interpret this. It should be similar if you're an awakened divine masculine. And I have been pulling these last few cards on the spot, and I love it because then it recycles the cards, and sometimes there is a revisit of similar energy. So this is kind of like a timeline experience, and we are taking a look at, let me get this down to you. Okay, let me go there. We are taking a look at what's currently taking place and moving into the future. Angels of Truth, Love, and Light. How is this clearing looking like in our 3D world for this union that's happening? We got card 2. Wow. First time any chakra cards have come out. And I'll show these to you after I pull them all. Card 2, sacral chakra. And card 6, third eye chakra. Moving into card 5, feeling alone. Card 10, flow. Card 3, nurture. Card 6, healing begins. Card 2, finding balance. And card 3, share the love. Wow, so the share the love and the feeling balance are the only 2 cards that are repeating, that I've repeated in other groups, but all these are new group cards. And I just wanted to talk briefly about the number syncs. So we have 2 3s in the timeline, and the divine masculine had the 2 12s, which are 2 3s. I just wanted to mention it. Sometimes I'm called to mention it. And there's also 2 6s here, which is a denomination of 3, right? 3 6, and we have 9. Okay, so sacral chakra is like very much like sexual, creative, passionate energy, water element, very feminine. And it's interesting, right? Because I was saying that the divine masculine's energy was more root chakra and sacral chakra with a little bit of this energy. And so I love that it's coming up, because then the second one was third eye chakra. So I feel like this is very much a nod to the balancing of your energies, right? Because the divine masculine is more lower body, while the divine feminine is more upper. And so Spirit's just trying to communicate that there is this exchange happening on an energetic level in terms of what you both are karmically processing and moving through at this time. And that there is this sense of feeling alone for the divine feminine, and not in like a sad and lonely way, but more in kind of like feeling a little bit distant from the twin flame experience, feeling kind of like not even really interested in it so much anymore, because they are so empowered on this abundance journey. And so I just want to say to you that as a twin flame, coming from somebody in twin flame union, that having that experience of spending some time all about you is very important part of the journey. And to not think that because you're not thinking about them all the time, or that you're not even like energetically or spiritually meditating or focusing on it or putting any energy into that, that is a very healthy place to be. And it does help push the union energy along, because you both need a little bit of space right now. Both of you are growing in very significant ways in terms of becoming a whole, healed, and complete individual that's completely balanced within themselves. So this is a divine feminine that has already gone through like that self-negligent process and that super codependent behavior. They've cleared that, okay, and now they're like stepping into a place of power. So perfectly healthy and very, very optimistic in terms of your soul journey, yeah. And we're seeing that this is divinely guided, right? So again, the feeling alone energy isn't so much feeling alone and abandoned, but just kind of feeling disconnected a little bit from the divine counterpart. That's all. Not from the universe or God or themselves, which, you know, is more important, really. So there is this wheel of destiny taking place. This is all divinely guided and timed. And we see the divine feminine stepping into this beautiful, like earth mama, goddess, divine feminine energy of nurturing and balancing the sun and the earth and feeling connected to everything and manifesting those goals and making things happen and having that power of healing come through our second six, feeling healed, feeling like renewed, feeling like things are working out for them, and maybe for the first time in a long time just feeling really good about life and having that harmony and balance and just kind of resonating with people and with their experience in a very new and different way, where it kind of feels like you're walking in time with a beat, right? That like everything is just kind of manifesting as you move into it, you know, like this sense of like the future being unwritten, and that is definitely an experience you get when you're having the spiritual awakening, where you start to feel like you have this simultaneous experience of feeling like you that the future is already written and everything's working out for you, but also feeling like everything is new and fresh and that you're creating it, and both are true. I know that's hard to understand maybe for some of you. I feel like some of you that makes perfect sense, but they both are true, okay? And then we see that 3, share the love. So again, this is just such a beautiful, positive, energetic experience of the divine feminine really just grabbing the reins of that horse and riding it, you know, like I feel like that chariot energy coming through for this divine feminine of, you know, manifesting and creating and allowing and feeling very healed and empowered, and has a very strong sense of identity and self-worth. And so Spirit just wants me to mention, if you're like, well, that's kind of sort of true, I think maybe, like, just, yes, it is true. You may not be in a space of the confidence to say, yes, that's true. But it is, you know, and give yourself permission to be like, yeah, I'm on fire. Okay, so that's kind of like the timeline. And then the result, right? So this card is more like, kind of like if you continue on this path, if this unfolds for you in this way, this is what will be the result of it. And it is like that process of clearing, right, of healing the things that need to be healed, of being more fearless and being willing to take those risks. What is the result for this divine feminine spirit? New partner. A chance meeting is no mistake. It is divinely orchestrated as a catalyst to set the wheels in motion for the fruition of your prayers. Pay careful attention to new people we send into your life. You will recognize them by your sense of familiarity, comfort, and safety. Wow, I love that for you. That's beautiful. So Spirit, like my immediate hit was like a twin flame facilitator or some sort of karmic soul partner that is there to be a companion and to be a friend, and obviously it can be intimate as well, or it could potentially be a shift in communication with your divine counterpart. I do feel like it's more about like a substitute partner, but you know, I also like to leave the door open for miracles to take place. Spirit just wants me to mention, like, not that it is really that necessary for this divine feminine, but there's no need for you to reach out to your divine counterpart. This is, again, divinely orchestrated. This is about that that wheel of fortune and flow and destiny, right? So it is all happening for you, not to you. And then for the final guidance message, Angels of Truth, Love, and Light, what advice or guidance would you like to leave this Divine Feminine with in regards to this twin flame journey? Thank you, God. Thank you, angels. What is your final words of wisdom that you would like to leave them with? 49, which is a 13, which is a 4. I think we had, here's the other 4, which was your union energy. You are limitless. Actions speak loudly. Express your love through your actions. I love this. This is very much that creative energy kind of being repeated. And, you know, I always say, like, our thoughts and feelings are a powerful catalyst of making things happen in terms of manifesting abundance. And then our words, you know, are like that next level of like speaking it into existence, and then taking action, taking those risks, right? Putting yourself out there and coming to the edge. That is going to be the loudest speaking of love. And Spirit saying this is like love of self, love of the universe, and there's definitely a strong connection to faith and trust here too. So ultimately, like a very like light, not too heavy reading. This says that you've already done a lot of deep shadow work, and you have kind of moved through that and paid your dues in that regard. Not to say that everything doesn't ebb and flow, because it does, but you've definitely put the effort and the energy in, and you deserve this. And I welcome that abundance in for all of us, and I'm sending you so much love and light on your journey. Thank you, Group 4. Mwah.